I'm Katie.
And I'm Paul.
And we're the Butcher, the Baker, and the Queso Maker.
So we're coming up with a channel name, right?
Yep.
And you kind of got to be quirky, and you kind of got to be different. And I'd never seen the great outdoors, so I didn't think for a minute about shooting a bear in the butt with a light. But it was like, oh, what could we call the channel? And I'm like, hey, honey, how about the Butcher, the Baker, and the Queso Maker? And the sort of the in-joke between the two of us is I'm the one that I do all the baking, and I'm the one that the sheep spend their final moments with, and or the deer, and or anything else, the chickens too. And so I'm the Butcher and the Baker, and Katie's getting into cheese making, and so to make the channel multicultural, we went with Queso Maker.
It rolls off the tongue easier.
It does.
It's better than the Butcher, the Baker, and the Cheese Maker.
Greetings, friends. Thanks for joining us on the Livestead today. And boy, do we have an announcement for you.
We've been keeping this quiet for the last 3 months.
Thereabouts.
And today we are finally going to tell you. We've been hinting at it in a few of our videos, and we've been procrastinating putting this off, and it's finally March. So
Pitter patter, let's get at her, eh? Let's start with the story. Every good story needs a story, or every good
video needs a story.
Every good video needs a story, and every good life-changing decision needs a story. So let's go back in time about 8 months, and my wife comes to me one day, and she's like, "Oh, husband, I think we should just sell everything we own in our house and buy a camping trailer, and we should just spend a year traveling the United States." Okay, just give me. So tonight we're gonna discuss the top 5 reasons why a flatbed pickup truck is better for RVing. Pack last night pulled her dress out of the closet and it smelled like cat pee. We don't have a cat. We've never had a cat in here, so we started digging. And it turns out a cat had peed on the inside of the closet.
A long time ago.
And we didn't know about it until our trailer leaked. Hey friends, it's the 22nd of December, and we are driving to Cleveland, Ohio.
So there's a silver lining to everything, and the silver lining brought us to Ohio, and so we decided to make the pilgrimage to Mecca.
Muslims have Mecca, Buddhists have their things.
Well, homesteaders have Lehman's.
Hindus have their things, yeah.
So we're here.
Homesteaders have Lehman's.
I've wanted to come ever since I saw, I think it was a video from Doug and Stacy on Lehman's, and so here I am.
Here we are.
Thanks, Doug and Stacy.
And the problem is we can't buy anything because we're traveling and don't have room.
We're just gonna look.
Oxen yoke. This is the coolest store.
For real, for sale.
Yeah. Hey guys, I'm Paul. This is my wife Katie, and we are the Butcher, Baker, and the Queso Maker. Welcome to our channel. Join us on our journey as we travel the United States searching for our next homestead. We started in Oregon on a small farmstead with our 3 tiny humans. We traded the farmstead for a 5th wheel and set out on a journey to meet the people and see the places that make this country great.
Can you hear us?
What you're gonna find on our channel are videos on the things we do: RV living, cooking, homeschooling, traveling, and homesteading. Hit the subscribe button and join us today. We're super excited you're here, and we cannot wait to take you along on the journey of a life.
beat you. I was watching it tonight.
All right.
I just put... Jason, you think that barn looked familiar? So, I just messaged on here to...
Yes, we're here.
Mama Z's Country
hear it.
Texas Kitchen that if you look behind me, it looks like we have an appliance store.
I tried to tell Jason that dress made him look fat, but he wouldn't listen to me. And now it's all awkward. Oh.
I think you just realized that, Robin. You might as well bring them out.
Might as well, huh?
Might as well. Hey, Green Dream Project, how are you? Yeah. Sometimes, it's like little kids, Robin. You just can't do that. You can't keep them quiet no matter what you do.
Well, from whereabouts unknown, Katie and Paul, butcher, baker, and queso maker. So I know that you have a video about your name, but go ahead and share with the folks in here, because I'm sure that not everybody in here has the understanding as to how your name came about. And they're both just looking at me. They're not saying anything.
Jason said his bathroom smells a lot better now.
Paul, can you hear me?
Now we lose audio.
Hello.
Yes, City Girl, they are.
Hello.
There they are.
Yes.
Yes, can you hear us okay now?
Uh-huh.
All right. We're gonna struggle through this.
So when we decide to jump into the
Here.
what do you do?
Hello.
Okay, can you hear us?
Right now I heard you.
Okay.
I'm sorry. It's the internet was better at Robin and Jason. That's what I say.
Yes,
It seems up.
I'll agree with that. They have good internet.
Okay.
So, okay. I guess we'll work on the assumption people can hear us. So our channel name, when we set out to name our YouTube channel, there's a lot of this homestead and that homestead and this acres and that acres and so a buddy of mine is pretty good at marketing, very successful business guy. We were talking, and I just kind of threw this idea out to him to do the butcher, the baker, and the queso maker. He liked it from like a business point of view, from like marketing and standing out and being different than everyone. But the real genesis of the butcher, the baker, and the queso maker goes all the way back to about 2009 when I was in college, getting a natural resources communications degree. We had to do interpretive talks, and this guy that I was in school with worked at a brewery, and he wanted to do an informative interpretive talk on brewing, baking, and cheese making, because they all involve different forms of fermentation and yeast and wild or cultured little flora that make things grow. So I'm like, hey man, you should do the butcher, the baker, the brewer, the baker, and the queso maker. So like 10 years later, when we're trying to find a YouTube channel, this little kind of tagline almost was rolling around in my brain, and we came up with it. So I enjoy butchering. That's kind of the thing that I do. We both bake.
Yep. And
Katie likes to cheese make, and she's learning to cheese make, and she can't wait to further hone her cheese making skills. We became the butcher, the baker, and the queso maker. So it was really born out of a desire to set ourselves apart in terms of homestead YouTube channel names from all the many acres that are out there.
But it also is kind of a conglomerate of lots of different types of things. So we're not just one thing. We have random stuff on our channel.
Yeah, and we chose queso because it rolls off the tongue. It's not, and we're not pandering to any group or that group or culture or whatever. It's just, it sounded better than the butcher, the baker, and the cheesemaker. So
Now,
we went with queso.
now I don't know if you can see the chat, but Jason informed everybody that Paul, you're an expert at fermenting.
No, I am. But
She is.
His gut is
This is
another
gonna-
thing.
this is
But
gonna
this
be-
is not
this
going to
is-
descend into poop. So
Gotcha.
there we go.
Yeah. Jason's trying to be funny. But that plane's going down, Jason.
So how was your trip going with your three younguns, little adults or little people, little humans? I think you referred to them once.
Tiny humans.
Tiny humans.
Yeah. So let me tell you, putting your 3 kids under the age of 10 in an RV and traveling around the United States is not a vacation. I have a Presbyterian background, so I love Jesus and a cocktail every now and then. So the joke is, people are like, "How do you do it?" And I'm like, "Whiskey," and they think I'm joking. But no, it is a lot of work, but we have fun doing it, and it's a lot of patience. Like, it really forces you to just really confront who you are as a parent, I think, and even a spouse. But we kind of cheated a little bit for the 2 years leading up to us leaving. I only ever really worked like part-time, so it's not like I went from working 80 hours a week and never seeing my wife and children to being around them all day in an RV.
Yeah.
It was a much easier transition, I think, because I've been afforded that time at home prior to leaving. So quite honestly, the lack of having stuff to do has been, I think, a bigger adjustment than trying to deal with being around my children all day. So,
But we've had some ups and downs,
yes.
so it's not been easy.
But what's exciting, we're only 6 months in, but we've had the opportunity to see our kids grow as an individual. I mean, like, literally grow. I bought Gideon, our youngest, new shoes like 2 months ago, and we had to get rid of them because they don't fit anymore. So we've been feeding them well, and we've watched them grow physically, but also we've had the joy of watching them grow relationally with one another, and because they're all that they have.
Still there?
They froze.
They froze.
And we don't have a 2000.
And this is what happens when you're at a campground. Trust me, we know this.
Okay.
Daryl's going to try to reconnect with them.
So right now it's up to you, hon.
Oh, I'm supposed to carry the
You carry the
chat,
load.
huh? Okay, folks, what shall we talk about? We can talk about Jason. He's in here. Talk about Nathan. I'll see Nathan in a little over a week. And Temperance and Johnny. And then, a little over a month is the Shindig. Raise your hands. Who's all going? Yeah, it would be, Anne Marie. You're right. Yeah, you're right. That's your life, just where you are. I'm look, see there, Jason. They said, we can talk about you. You know what, Anne Marie? You never know when Ahmed's going to call in. That's the scary part. Yeah, the naked gardeners. I get my hugs. Don't I, Sydney? Yes, well, I know you're going, Nathan. Oh, Broussards, are you going to the gathering also? Am I understanding that correctly? Will I see you in Mississippi?
Okay. I'm sorry.
Geeky Gardens is saying, let's talk about Paul while he can't defend himself. Anne Marie, I wish we could. I'd love to go with them, to go to all of them. Oh, awesome. Awesome, Terry. I am so happy to hear that. Well, no, I'm assuming this is Brett, not naked hugs, you know. I think that would be a little bit strange, to say the least. Hi there, Heaven's Gate. How are you? How's Michigan these days? Crystal, I wish you were going to, but we get to see each other in October. How about that? He smells like meat? Well, is that a bad thing, Jason? I mean, I've hugged people that just smell, period. So, you know. Huh. Serenity Meadow Permaculture. Oh, you get to see your brother. Who's your brother? Does he have a homestead also? Oh, tomorrow is just Lou's birthday. Awesome. Oh, yeah, there we go. Sexy meat. Okay. Do we have to make you a t-shirt that says that, Sydney? How's she doing, Sky? It is if you're a vegan. Yes, and there's going to be a wedding this year at the HOA. For those of you that don't know that, there is going to be a wedding. Corgills, how are you? Tunstead, welcome, welcome. Did we get them back yet?
Not yet.
We're still trying to get them back. Yeah, it was 63 here in north central Ohio, so it was nice. We finally got the camper down to the dealership, so they're going to fix it, and it'll be ready for us to take to Arkansas. We are not taking it to Mississippi. It's just going to be me and Daryl.
Okay. We are starting to get them back here a little bit.
You gotta close.
Perhaps.
Oh, Paul, you're driving from Dallas to the Shindig? Okay. Now, I don't know where Paul, Mama Z, they are flying in from Texas also, but I'm not sure where they're flying into. City Girl, Texas Rose, Homestead, they are the two that are getting married at the HOA. And Crystal is going to be doing the ceremony. I told them that they need to have Smudge as a ring bearer.
Okay, Katie or Paul, can you hear me?
Are we good again?
I can hear you. Can you hear us?
Are we good again? Are we good again? I can hear you.
Okay, well, we can
Is
hear
it a better
you.
connection? Okay.
All right.
Going to try it
This
again.
works.
Yeah, Jason said if we can't get them back, that he and Brett would come on. Isn't that nice of him to say that?
Oh, but Jason likes to tell everyone I'm the one that likes attention.
Oh, and Brett will talk about how he has been practicing his MC Hammer. Yes, Sky, I found Fluff Butt a sitter. Our goddaughter is going to do it. She's a senior in high school. And she's going to come in the morning, and then she'll come back in the evening and bring them inside. So all is good there. Oh, he's vegan when his wife is around? Okay. Hey, MBF Off Grid, how you doing tonight? I'm just sort of flying by the seat of my pants here. This is what happens when you try to do the internet at a campground. We know that all too well. Page family, welcome. Glad to see you here. We got 37 in here. We need 10 more thumbs up to get that 37 count. Got a family that's on the road. There's been quite a few families that have sold their places and gone on the road to find their permanent homestead. Plain speaker, good evening. Oh yeah, I'm sure, Sydney. Forces you, right? Well, Sky, that's a little bit, bringing him from Ohio to Missouri, then going back to Mississippi. I just don't see the logic in that, but I appreciate you offering. He'd probably have fun with little Mr. OSU that you have now. God, is that all it is, Paul? 20 days? That is, I'm ready.
Okay, I got a picture back. Let's see if they can talk now. Hello?
Okay, can you hear us?
Yes, we can.
Hello.
We can hear you.
Woo.
Susan
Okay.
Baker, good evening. Homestead Dreaming, how are you, kiddo? It's always more fun talking about people when they can't fight back, right? Or when he can fight back. You got a point there. Oh, there looks like their picture is better too.
Well, we're doing everything we can to get a decent picture and audio, so.
Karen, hello. Get to see you in 20 days also, Karen. Get my Canadian hugs. Teresa and Lee, good evening. Oh yeah, well, Sky, at least your little baby is black. Try having mud bath when they're white. The Little Farmer's Farm from Manchester, UK. My grandfather was from Manchester. Welcome.
Oh, Manchester United, aren't they a good ball team?
In United Kingdom. So we have United Kingdom here, Canada, Holland, USA.
Ooh, Canada, eh? We're about
Yeah.
Canada. Are they from us?
Okay, I think we have them back.
Or at least why sometimes.
I think they are in their camper. Is that right, Katie? Are you in your camper right now?
We're in.
Okay. That's what I thought. Yep. So take the floor. It's all yours.
Okay, so what were we talking about? We were talking about the butcher maker and the queso maker.
Traveling with 3 children.
Traveling with 3 children after we were. And so we've seen our children grow.
A lot of patience and alcohol. We've seen our children grow physically, but also relationally. The kids have come together in a big way, and they are having to rely on one another. We have 2 extroverts and a kind of a half introvert, so it's really neat to see those dynamics play out. But all 3 of them hit the ground running at HOA, which was really super neat to see. A community of like-minded people. Really, the biggest limiting factor with the children is how far a 4-year-old now can walk. Because I swear we nearly broke his little legs off at Williamsburg, Virginia. So he's kind of the canary in the coal mine. We know when we're reaching our limit for the day when he just can't walk anymore, and I have to carry him on my shoulders. So, yes. So, but it's an adventure, and I think that's like people confuse vacation with lifestyle, and living on the road full time is a lifestyle, not a vacation. I think right now for me, so it's early days, and then getting a hotel for 2 days, so I have a shower and a bed to sleep in. You know, sort of like the opposite of camping. We camp full time, so we go play house for 2 or 3. We pay to play house for 2 or 3 days in something that's not our camper trailer.
That would be vacation.
Yeah, that
That's
would
not
be,
what we do.
It's not what we do. So it's funny. That thought occurred to me this last week at the place we're staying in North Georgia, where these people, like, the campground was deserted, and then on the weekend people show up to camp, and it's like, but we camp full time, so what would our camping be? Well, yeah, be getting a hotel, or like a Airbnb with a dishwasher, and be like, ooh, let's go camp. So, but it's a lot of fun, a lot of work. 200 square feet's not a lot, so. Lifestyle of fixing our RV, yeah. So that's anyone growing potatoes of some kind.
I don't have audio
I don't think they can hear us.
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear us?
Yes, ma'am. Sure can.
Can you not hear?
We can hear
Can you
you.
hear you?
Yes.
Okay.
So, yes. So, if we would like the interrogation to continue, next question, please.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't think.
Clamping.
I can't imagine traveling full time with children under 10 years old.
Well, obviously, we know the hollers.
Well, when we set out, we were self-righteously the people. Yes, and we had a chance to spend some time with the haulers at their place, and the first thing we told them was, like, we decided to do this before we. So that's. We can hear you. Next question, please. Can you hear you? And the nice thing about what they did or didn't do, and the mistakes they made didn't make. So that's the power of YouTube, is kind of learning from other people's mistakes at a faster rate than making your own. So all families are different, and all family dynamics are different, and we're just kind of really figuring it out one day at a time. I guess is the secret to YouTube homesteading as well.
Well, Cattywampus Acres is asking, once the camper's fixed, where to then?
We're gonna go to Texas. Figuring it out one day. We have some family in Texas that we would like to visit, and so we're gonna go there, and then I think we are gonna try. Vanilla is my favorite flavor of ice cream, so we're gonna try to make it down to South Arizona. That's no guarantee, just because we would love to go down and see the Green Dream Project in southern Arizona, and then swing through what's the town in Arizona with the hot dogs?
Tucson. Tucson.
No.
Snore dog.
And they were so
There's
close to us,
what is
and
it?
we didn't even know it, did we, Daryl?
That's right.
So close to us, an hour
Well,
away.
yeah.
Yep.
Oh, wow, this is awkward.
I do have a question.
Well, so the fact of the matter was, God opened up a 4-day window for us to get up there, by train, and get back. Like we
In December.
in December. We've not wasted any time.
Oh, I totally do not blame you.
Did Jason know that you were coming to Ohio?
Did Jason who?
Did Jason, Big Bear Homestead, did he know that you were going to Ohio?
Oh, Jason Buttocks. Oh, he didn't. So what we did was we actually went to Jason and Robin's before. What? Oh, Jason Rear. Sorry, Buttocks. That's what he is in my phone. So. Poop joke of that, Jason. So we went to the Big Bear Homestead mid-December, before Christmas, and I think it was there that we discovered our first trailer was leaking, or shortly
It
thereafter.
was right after.
And so we returned to North Carolina from our first visit to Big Bear, and then that's when we went up to Ohio. And then after we returned to North Carolina from Ohio, that's when we coordinated with Jason and Robin to visit again. And okay, so like most of you guys probably know, we were at Jason and Robin's for 6 weeks, which like it's this weird fuzzy area where you go from like being friends to like being family, and that's not like you know, you can choose your friends but you can't choose your family. And so it was like 6 weeks was a long time to be with people we'd only just met, and we were really concerned about wearing out our welcome and being there for too long, but we wanted to get a lot done for them, and we never meant to be there for as long as we were.
No.
It was going to be 2 weeks, and then we had the saga of the broken toolboxes, and it took like 2 weeks for us to get a toolbox situation resolved with Home Depot. And then after that, that's when we found out the new trailer was leaking. So it was, I'm going to blame it on the guide stones. If you know anything about where Jason and Rob are from, there's these Masonic guide stones, and it's all their fault. The devil trips. Like the real devil, not Jason. So it was just like, it was like 2 weeks turned into a month, and a month turned into 6 weeks, and
They were very gracious hosts.
very gracious host is like, no, Jason, like we don't want to strain our relationships, and we don't want you to hate us because we're like your family that you can't get rid of. But it worked out good, and we got all done for him and stuff. So we intended on going back for a visit, but we didn't intend for it to be as long as it was.
Well, apparently he has a pet name for you in his phone book as well. So
He has what?
apparently he has a pet
Oh,
name.
I'm sure he does.
Yep, he said, told you those guide stones were weird.
Oh, they are. And be nice, Jason, or I'll come take all my screws out of your quilt ledge.
Copper Kettle,
That's
I
right,
do
still
agree.
on paper.
Big Bear Homestead, they are big teddy bears. Yes, Jason is.
I won't know. We never cuddled.
Well, that's good to know.
I guess you missed your
Right.
opportunity.
Yeah.
No. Opportunity was. It's all about healthy boundaries and relationships and friendships.
Well, you were there for the birthing, were you not?
Yeah, they were there.
Yes, we
Yes,
were.
we were.
Yeah,
For
they were there for the 2-week birthing.
Oh yes, the protracted labor. So Jason and Robin were really sweet. They let our kids name
Calf.
the calf, and we put names in a hat, and the kids drew them out. And consequently, like 2 weeks later, my daughter, who is 6, was telling me all the boys that she thinks should be her husband. And she goes, you know, there's just so many. Maybe I should just write their names on a piece of paper and you use your hat, and I'll just pick one out. And that's how I'll pick who I marry. And I was like,
Oh, you're in trouble now. That's cute. I love that.
So, what's Jason's name?
Okay, this little house is
Oh,
asking,
you've named
what's your
something.
next big life plan?
Our next big life plan. So we are kind of cultural and socioeconomic and political refugees from the West Coast. So we need to find a place to settle down again for 6 weeks. Which number 2, we need to sell a house in Oregon. So one of the things that's allowed us to travel is we rent our homestead out, and so that's the biggest obstacle that we have to clear before we can decide where we're going to settle down. And so that's probably going to happen within the next 6 months. We signed a 1-year lease with the people that are renting it. But hey, if you're watching this and you need to move to Oregon for some unknown reason, I got a place I'll sell you. So that's it. We got to sell our house, decide where we want to settle down, and then move a storage unit's worth of life from Oregon to wherever we settled down. And your next question is probably going to be, well, where do you guys want to move to?
They said your
And
mic
that's
is
a really
very
good
low,
question. I'm
Daryl.
not going to say because we don't know. What's that?
They were just hollering at me because my mic was very low, and it was.
Cecilia, that's because he turned it down on
Okay.
purpose. Forgot to turn it back up.
Yeah, I turned it down when I was trying to get them hooked up. All right, so we're back to normal.
Yeah, Sky,
somewhat.
I had a feeling I didn't want one, but I was just saying I've never had them.
So are you, do you have a criteria list that you're going through looking for these properties? For your future property?
That's a really good. So there is so the homesteading the YouTube channel are quite honestly they are ancillary to another.
Yes.
And that long-term goal is missionary care. So I serve on the board of directors for a missionary care organization centered out of Bend, Oregon, that focuses on
Intensive rest.
rest for Christian workers and pastors. Because one of the biggest challenges that missionaries face overseas is having to live and work in a culture that's not their own, and then they come home on furlough. And I'm sorry if I'm speaking too much Christianese. If I'm speaking too much of the culture of Christianity, let me know in the thread, and I'll break it down. I'll secular explain it, if you will.
Well, when they come back for a visit.
Yeah, hello.
They have to visit a whole bunch of people, and it's just not restful,
Right.
and you get burnout. So it's kind of like a place, kind of like a bed and breakfast, but for Christian workers. So it's kind of got a hospitality aspect to it.
That's simply what it is. It's hospitality. It's the hospitality ministry, and we will run it off of the property. Our goal, obviously, because of the lifestyle we've chosen with homesteading and the channel, is to have essentially what amounts to a farm stay, where we can do we can live the life that we want to live homesteading, but we can also incorporate into that the missionary care work that we want to do. So in 2016, we actually went on a one month long, 8-month long survey trip to Eastern Europe, looking at being missionaries, and it like fell apart on day 2, and it was awful. But at the end of the month, we ended up in like 3 countries away and found the organization that we want to partner with. So God's in control, and we're along for the ride. And that was a very condensed version of that story. But
Yeah, so part of it is we want to have a place like a second home on it, or ability to have a second home
mother-in-law
on
unit.
it, so that they could stay, and then we still have our house.
Well,
The
maybe
other thing that we're looking for a homestead in the geographically.
maybe you should investigate some of these motels that are in the country that no longer have the traffic because of the road. When they built the superhighway, the side roads didn't get lost their traffic, and so you see all these strip motels. And,
right. And it's funny you bring that up, Daryl. Well, because like one of the things that the Southeast has a lot of are these derelict little roadside shops. They seem to be everywhere on every 2-lane road we drive down. And it's like, man, that would be an awesome shop that you don't have to build. So we are open in terms of property. We are open to really, number one, what we can afford. We'll obviously have a budget, but we want pastoral land. We want pastoral land with wooded acreage, and we'll probably end up building just because we're really picky people, high maintenance, and we're just gonna want what we want, and we probably won't be able to find it for sale.
So we'll probably look for bare land.
Bare land or what in so the homes are quite honestly they're ancillary missionary care. So I just thought that would be so neat because they have nice big open spaces. Not Masonic lodges though. Bad experience with that. So we're really open to anything on that, but we want to incorporate the homesteading lifestyle into the missionary care lifestyle, because I think a testament to that is our time at Jason and Robin. When we showed up at Jason and Robin, we were 5 months into this year-long trip, and I was burned out from boredom. sitting in an RV park while my wife homeschools is not the most engaging thing. So, I mean, just you can ask Jason and Robin. Like we did a whole lot of just mindless labor on their property, and it was the greatest thing we could have done. It was refreshing, and in a weird way, almost therapeutic to just labor. And so I think we can incorporate elements of that into the mission of care by just affording people. Some people don't like to talk, so they just they come out into the garden and come out and help us move the animals. We're going to move fences today for our intensive rotational grazing that we learned from
Sean and Beth
Doherty. And oh, did I name drop? My bad. Yes, I did. They're sweet people. But so it's there's a difference between working and I think laboring, because one you use your mind and the other you use your body. And I think sometimes using your body instead of your mind can be therapeutic. So.
Yeah, definitely anyone at Jason's at Big Bear Homestead, they do not sit on their hands. That is one thing they do not do there.
Yeah, they're a pretty busy family.
Yeah. So, Big Dream Homestead asked, are we going to do a shed to house conversion? So, probably not. And really the reason why, and I don't want to discourage people or step on toes, but we have real estate backgrounds, and there can be issues with property values and ability to resale and ability to get mortgages with houses, because are these things an awesome shop that you don't have to build. So we are open in terms of problem alone on housing out of pole barns, because posts rot after a certain period of time, and it's not as cut and dry as it could be, and so that's not something that really appeals to us just from a real estate standpoint. So I'm going to say Shouse is probably not on the table, but in a year I'll probably be building one, and someone will kindly point this live stream out to me and tell me I was wrong. So, but at this time, no, we're not looking at a Shouse.
Have you found anything that looks promising?
Areas?
Yes.
So, okay, yeah. We really like Western North Carolina, in part because of the topography. Like we were both born and raised in the Pacific Northwest on the coast with mountains and relatively cool temperatures. Humidity is of the devil, and I've yet to find 40 acres that's air conditioned. So we really have like two choices.
Deal with the humidity
or altitude. And Eastern North Carolina, Western North Carolina affords that. I'm just going to be completely honest, and I'm sorry if I offend anyone. If we move to Eastern North Carolina, Western North Carolina, it has absolutely nothing to do with other large YouTube channels that may or may not be in the Asheville area.
Strictly weather.
At the end of the day, I would never base a life decision on strictly weather, topography, affordability,
and culture.
I mean, even homeschooling. We have 3 kids that we homeschool. I had a federal firearms license before we left. I own recreational items that are not welcome in every state of the union. So, like, we couldn't move to New York unless I made some hard decisions about liquidating guns. But to that end, we're also looking at southeastern Ohio. It was actually the Dohertys at HOA turned us on to the prospect of Appalachian, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
In part because it's economically depressed. That makes it affordable. And that's just a matter of fact. I'm not indicting the people or the culture. It's what it is.
That's fact.
Southeastern.
You are aware that we're hosting a meetup there this year.
The invitation was lost in the mail. We look forward to it again. No.
We the Buckeye Sizzler is in southeastern Ohio.
But okay. Wait. So, but like Pennsylvania, so we've actually, truth be told, if if we could create the laws that we lived under, we would go to probably like the air around Washington, Pennsylvania, and make that the perfect place to live. It's close to Pittsburgh, it's close to West Virginia, it's close to southeastern Ohio. Beautiful part of the state, but the homeschool laws in Pennsylvania are enough that we don't want to live there. So it's almost so Justin Rhodes has he has a term that he uses, analysis paralysis, where you can be paralyzed by the analysis that goes into making a decision on the homestead specifically, and that kind of applies to where we want to live, because we're in a unique position where we can move anywhere we want. I mean, like we could move to Hawaii if we wanted to. You know, if we could find a place that we could afford to move to in Hawaii. I don't want to. Just an example. So like we're not bound to a geographic location for work, for instance. So we can really kind of move anywhere we want, and that's almost more paralyzing than not having any choice at all, because you have to make a decision, get yourself under and live with it, and not fall under the regret of where you decide to live. So for us, on that criteria, it is homeschool, primarily homeschool laws, cottage food laws, harvest rainwater. You laugh, it is an Oregon, so that's why we're leaving. Not specifically, but part of the reason. What are the gun laws? You know, that is like I value freedom and the ability to keep freedom free, and so I'm not going to move to New Jersey, for instance. So it's a multifaceted diamond, if you will, a choice we have to make with a lot of different facets on it. And we understand no place is perfect. There's no panacea. So we need to find that place that checks as many of those boxes as we can. We thought we were going to move to West Virginia. We just scoured it online, obsessed over it, drove there, and realized there's a reason land is cheap in West Virginia. And those reasons are reasons that would cause us not to want to live there, regrettably.
It was absolutely beautiful, but it was
the economics of the state have created a culture, a socioeconomic culture that we do not want to move our family into. It's strange the parallels it has to where we're from in Northern California. The government shuts down resource extraction and drugs move in, and you have a drug-addled population of people that can't support themselves. So West Virginia would be like going home, but we left home, so we don't want to go back to home, if you know what I mean. And it's really sad. So right now, Ohio, southeastern Ohio, and probably western North Carolina are the two places that we have found, and maybe Tennessee. We're going to check out Tennessee. Tennessee has some tax benefits to living there. Kentucky.
We haven't really spent any time in Kentucky.
No, that's a possibility too. But I mean, like, if I had to give you an answer, Dale, right now, like, yeah, southeastern Ohio and western North Carolina.
So far.
Well, for during the summertime, of course, we're from Ohio. Actually, Sherry's from New York, but she left New York when she was 3, so she doesn't remember it.
No one asked me. Shoved me in the back seat, and away we went.
But from where we're at, in the summertime, I mean, looking at properties, I like Ohio, I like Kentucky, I like Tennessee, but I don't think I like any of them in the wintertime. In the wintertime, I want further south.
Well, see, that's funny. I'm going to go out on a limb and say there's probably a few years each difference between us. But one of the things that really appeals to us for Ohio is the winter. It has this season where it gets cold, you know. And give me another 20 years, and I'll be hosting a live stream where I tell this young couple I'm going to move south where it's warm. But right now we kind of want to, we long for the winter.
We'll come haunt you then.
We had to turn our air conditioning on, in January. It was just gross.
We have a skiing area that's 3 miles from our house for snow skiing all winter.
Yep.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, we have a racetrack that's like 3 miles from our house.
So anyway,
So the Broussard Homestead says the Louisiana winter is bearable. It's the other 3 seasons that are not.
yeah, yeah, and I agree with what he said. I mean, we have been down his way in a very warm time of year, and we survived, but that's only due to air conditioning and extreme amounts of generator power and electricity. And no, I'm teasing, but no, it's pretty darn hot and sticky in the summertime.
You have to read Big Bear's comment.
You have a spot for a camper during the winter.
I said, good thing we didn't come this past winter.
Well, he's got enough property. He just,
Well, that's true.
We just need
You're
to.
welcome too. We
Did you clear it out?
Oh, you know what? Yeah, give me another 20 out. Oh, we did. You just put your truck in reverse and it'll fall down the driveway. And you're welcome. The ruts.
Page fam.
So it's empty now. Okay. So it's funny. We left the first week of September, hit Indiana. That was the first place it was really super humid. And that's the first place someone's like, oh, the weather's never this bad. This year is different. And I swear, every state we went to, when we told people, oh, we're looking for a new place to live, well, West Virginia's nice. It's never this bad. This is the worst. Kentucky's great. It's never this bad. North Carolina's great. It's never this bad. Virginia's great. It's never this bad. Like, do you just tell other people to try to get them to move there? So.
That's true. And Marie, everywhere in the South is sticky. Yep. That just pretty much says it all.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
So we got into North Carolina third week of September. And I opened the door to the trailer one morning and just closed it and walked in. And Katie's like, what's wrong? I thought you were going outside. I'm like, nope, just a little too North Carolina today for me. And I went in and sat in the air conditioning until I absolutely had to leave.
Yeah, when we were in Florida in September,
So the people in the South,
I wanted to stay in the camper half the time.
It's fine. We left the first week of September. We hit Indiana, and that's the first place it was really super humid. And that's the first place someone's like,
Jason. Jason said we never had rain like this till he showed up.
Were you also known as the Rain Man?
It's funny. Well, so Jason on more than one occasion, we kind of convinced about this and went back and forth. So we left the Big Bear Homestead and went up to Lake Lanier and Lanier, potato. And I was at a laundromat, and the attendant walks up to me and he's like, "You're the one with the Oregon plates?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Why'd you bring the rainy weather with you?" I'm like, "Oh, thanks. No, I didn't. This is hot rain. Where I come from, it's cold." Do we wear t-shirts? No, who's that? Thomas from Okie? Guessing you're from Oklahoma. No, I don't. I wear overalls as long as I can. It's the uniform of the day. They are Fat Man yoga pants. All the basic fat white chicks that wear yoga pants don't actually do yoga.
Fat Man yoga pants. I've never heard that.
To wear my, so I don't have to be a farmer to wear my overalls. Just the same way white chicks don't have to do yoga to wear their yoga pants. So, and overalls are 100% butt crack safe. No one ever sees a plumber's crack on.
Got a good point there, Paul. That is very true.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Yep. Never thought about that.
It's one
Yep.
service I provide.
Yep.
There you go.
You don't know if they're a plumber or not. You gonna open the phone lines at all tonight, Daryl?
Well, we can give it a try. We can.
Because I have a feeling I know somebody that may want to call in.
You think?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let me.
I'm sure they miss them.
Let me see what I
You know
can
what?
do here.
I'm gonna call his cell phone so he can't call in.
You're gonna call his cell phone so he can't call in.
Right? Oh, and shameless plug. I wish we were big enough to have a channel sponsor. We're not. Maybe one day. But Duluth, they have the best overalls. They're fire hose overalls. They're light. They're airy. They're comfortable. They have a gusseted crotch. That's important. So check out Duluth overalls. They're nice. A little spendy, but you get your money's worth.
Brett, I just put some of my drink in my mouth and I almost spit it out on my monitor when I just read your comment. Oh, Lord.
All right, so we're gonna give the phone line a try here. We're obviously we're stretching their connection to the maximum, but we'll see what we can do here. The phone lines are open. If somebody would like to call in, and we'll see if we can get questions to them that way or not, or if Ahmed's around. I don't know.
I don't know if Ahmed's around. Hidden Oaks Homestead, they're still living out of suitcases. I can understand that. We will start packing ours next month on our way to when we go to the Shindig.
Yep.
We'll get the back seat ready for Mr. Fluffbutt, and away we go. Yeah.
Tell me that's the dog.
That's not Daryl,
Okay.
That's the dog. He has other names, Paul. Fluffbutt's not one of them.
Hey. Whatever keeps us fit. More power to you. Shameless plug. I wish they're fire hose overalls. They're light in a fair area. That's important. So check out the list overall. We're on.
You know, Naked Gardener, they could be on AOL dial-up.
Yeah.
Now, if Ahmed calls in, everybody better get their Depends is what they better do.
We're on Trailer Park.
We were on our own.
Well, unfortunately, and we can attest to this. In a trailer in an RV park,
Yeah, the
the
connections
evenings
are terrible.
evenings are horrendous for connections.
Yep.
Even if you have your own wireless, evenings I don't know what it is. It's just bad.
I think that's what it is because we're on our own wireless, but
And we tested this connection during the day, and it was absolutely fine.
Anne Marie, I brought my grandson's swimming ones in from the camper this morning, so if anybody needs them, you know, they only go up to 35 pounds, but yeah, I'll ship them to you if I have to.
Thank you.
Favorite memories at Big Bear's place?
Favorite memory? They're not appropriate to share on this live stream, so no. No.
the cat.
It was just birth. You know. No, favorite memory.
We were there.
Felt like a lifetime.
No, we were there when Blake and we were there. I think that's when he left.
Yes.
So we were a part of that, and that was super special.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
was really sweet to be a part of that. And it was one of those things where, like, the most exciting thing was, you know, like when you grow up hearing your dad tell you stuff, it just sort of like goes in one ear and out the other. But Katie and I were in this really unique position, like where we showed up, and a week later he was going to the recruiter. So I got to tell Blaze everything that his dad got to tell him in terms of like decisions, like how to make the right choices, what to do, like I wasn't a Marine, so I wasn't telling him how to survive boot camp. I'm just like, dude, I was in for 6 weeks. Peace out. I'm done. So like, it wasn't my boot camp experience, my basic training experience, but it was like all the other like how to make really good life choices in the military. So there was one piece of advice I gave him, Jason gave him, the Naked Gardener gave. Like he ended up hearing from like a half dozen people, and 5 of those 6 people were not his dad. So if that boy goes out and makes these 2 mistakes, like it's on him. Like he has no excuse, and that's not to buy a car and to set up allotments. And so it was just, it was really neat because it was Jason. I think not. It's not like we showed up at someone's house where the dad didn't have military experience, and so we're trying, so it was like I was trying to pump this kid's head full of my own experience. But it was a real neat situation where, like, we kind of walked on the scene. This all happened, and I got to back up Jason and basically reiterate everything Jason was saying from someone that wasn't Blaze's dad. And when you're 20, like, you don't really listen to your dad. You don't really listen to other people that aren't your dad. So my only hope is that he heard it from enough people that some of it'll sink in. And I think it will. I mean, like, Blaze isn't stupid. But if he buys a car, let's set up allotments, then we get to call him stupid because he heard that from 6 people.
He's a smart young man.
Well, we've got somebody here in the chat that wants to know what your favorite memory is from Big Bear Homestead, and then they have a second comment after that.
What's the funny story that's happened this year? The funniest, I don't. I talk to everyone that I run into. Like I'm insufferably outgoing. So I have a lot. Really? Yeah, really. We're trying, so. It's something that we can laugh at now, but it was really tough when we went through it, and I had to salvage the conversation by asking what the locals ate because someone pointed out that we weren't from around there. And we got turned on to liver mush, which is really good. It's like scrapple for you Pinsa Ohioans. And so just there's tons of really great stories. But daughter thinks she's gonna marry a holler boy. I think that's the funniest thing. Like there's like 3 of those boys that have the name in the hat for who's gonna be her husband. My favorite thing has been the people.
Yeah, all the people we met.
Like we're from the West where we have a lot of national parks that we grew up going to. I mean, Redwood National Park is 45 minutes from where we grew up. So it's like, oh, the majesty of nature. We got plenty of that. So it's the people for me. It's been the people.
Yeah.
And the funniest thing. We are in Williamsburg, Virginia. And I'm letting my daughter pick out a hat. It's a pink ball cap.
Here we go.
And the lady goes, "That is so beautiful.
It matches your shirt."
It matches your shirt. It's pink." And she looks at the lady and goes, "No, it's beautiful because I'm beautiful."
No, it's gonna match me every day.
Oh yeah, it's gonna match me every day because I'm beautiful. And it was just like, it was hilarious. Like the lady looks at me like, "What? Going on here?" I'm like, "Oh, we're working on humility. It's a part of the homeschool curriculum." But, it was just like this glimpse of this like really appropriate and really nice self-confidence. Like she knows she's beautiful, probably because mommy and I tell her all the time. But like the hat didn't make her beautiful; she made the hat beautiful.
I love it. That's great.
Just the look of just the look of shock on the lady's face was priceless.
That's great.
So Sydney, the Naked Gardener, we met at the Big Bear Homestead. Sydney and I were on the same Air Force base in the Middle East right after 9/11, 20 years ago, and 20 years later we met on Jason's front yard.
Wow.
And that was cool.
Yeah.
Like the world is like huge and terribly small at the same time.
That is cool.
You couldn't plan that if you wanted to. Like God is so amazing in those ways, and so there's when we're done, we're gonna have thousands of stories like that. I think. So, at the busy little house, I know the wildlife, not wildlife in general. So, that's small world, I guess.
Yeah, it absolutely is a small world, without question.
Yeah. You know, one of the most alarming things, so I'm going to be completely honest, this homesteading thing is my wife's shtick. I'm just along for the ride. I did not know that
You're just
hatchery
the driver.
catalogs and seed catalogs are, yeah, right? Hatchery catalogs and seed catalogs, like, there are housewives all over the country acting like Whitney Houston going after an 8-ball of cocaine in their seed packets and chicks. And it's like, it was unbelievable. Like, I bore witness to this. And I was just like, people, they're chicks and vegetables. Like, it's amazing getting involved in the homesteading culture and seeing the dark underbelly of, seed catalogs and that sort of thing, too. So.
Well, Paul, give us a little bit of your background. I mean, you indicated when you gave your name and so forth, you were a butcher and a baker. So, I mean, is that professionally?
Right.
Were you a meat cutter and a baker, or what?
No, not at all.
It was necessity.
It was a necessity. So we started deer hunting in California when we were married. We took a deer into a local grocery store, and I'm not even certain we got the same deer back. So thank you for laughing at my drug joke, Stephanie Blooms. Appreciate that. So we get this deer back, and it was awful. It was full of beef fat, and it was just not worth it. So out of necessity, we started butchering our own deer.
We taught ourselves how to do it.
Yeah, and I've always I think I have the mind of an engineer and like the personality of a televangelist, and those things don't like mesh up. So I've always enjoyed taking animals apart, and that sounds really creepy, and I don't mean for it to, but like if I were a doctor, I'd have to be the medical examiner. I could take it apart, but not always put it back together. So it's just fascinating to butcher animals, quite honestly.
So biology was your subject.
Right, and I do have I have a science degree. I have a degree in natural resource sciences. So I kind of dabbled in zoology. But I mean, I slaughtered a horse. You want to appreciate a horse? Go cut one up. Like, you will never fully comprehend how God made horses to work until you're inside of one, quite literally. Like,
It was not ours.
no, it wasn't. That was a phone. Someone approached me after church. Hey, can you give me a hand? Sure. What do you need? Oh, wow. So I've never professionally butchered. Can you give me a hand? Sure. What do you need? I've never professionally butchered. I kind of one of the things on YouTube. Like, I always try to be really clear that, like, I'm not a butcher. Everything I know, I've learned the hard way. And thank you, Jason and Robin, for providing me the opportunity to cut up a bunch of your pigs to be more familiar with the anatomy of pigs in butchering. So it's all self-taught, quite honestly. So it's kind of what I gravitated towards in the homesteading life. She raises them, cuddles them, brings them into the world, and I meet them and deal with them in the last 5 to 10 minutes they're alive, and it works for us.
And you just package them up and on to the next one.
Freezer camp.
We do, and we have found a little not professional, but wisdom garnered through failure. Wrap your meat up in saran wrap and then butcher paper. Wisdom, meat up in saran wrap and then butcher paper, and it'll last you buy in the small rolls at the grocery store. That stuff is overpriced, way too thick. Go online to Cabela's or Webstaurant and get like the big roll so you feel like a butcher when you're doing it. That's the way to go.
Well, you've butchered deer before, right?
Oh yeah, yes I have. I've heard if you're on a phone, you have to type out the entire name. What?
Don't worry about that. That's for them highlighting,
Okay.
tagging somebody.
All right.
I got it covered, Daryl.
Okay. Well, I'm seeing. Never mind.
What are your children's ages?
I'm 6 and 4.
So we wanted, quite honestly, we wanted to do this trip before any of them started puberty because my liver couldn't handle adolescence and a road trip. So any of them started being and a road trip. So.
And it's the boy, girl, boy.
Yeah.
So.
Someone once told me we won the lottery because we had boy, girl, boy, and evidently they didn't have daughters, but whatever.
My first one was.
She's sweet. I love her.
Well, then, Jason, that's good that they were there, that they helped you pick out the butchering equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It comes down to practicality and usefulness.
Yeah, it really does. And you can money. We've paid to hang deer or sheep. We've paid to hang sheep at a local market.
Local butcher.
And then we do the work ourselves because it can save you money, and it's really about control. That's what really got us into it is the control. It was one bad deer. I think we spent like $150 to have the deer butchered, and it was just
it was not good meat when it came back, and it should have been.
I could have lit $150 on fire and got more out of it than that deer we paid for. So I have a 7-year-old and one yet to be conceived. Well,
Yeah, I'm not sure how to take that one, Paul.
The perfect Manhattan on our food. What's that?
I said I wasn't sure how to take that comment. One yet to be conceived. Stephanie.
Yeah.
Busy little house has a redhead.
Yeah. Oh, I have a 7-year-old. Is the control over here? Like, I think we spent like $150. That's all that. It was just.
Little house has a redhead.
You can see the other day. You have 4 of them I read his play with, and I'm like, guns, knives, explosives, like redheads, and it didn't occur to him that he has a redheaded little brother. But gingers are so sweet. They are.
Yeah, we
they
have.
Are,
Pretty special.
they are.
We
They're
have two.
instruments of humility.
We have 2 17-year-old grandchildren that are seniors this year, and they are gingers.
Mm-hmm. So strong enough to Bear Homestead. I want to do a cow too. Like that's a life goal. I really want to get a Dexter when we land because in my mind 2/3 of a cow is better than the whole one. But the walk-in freezer to handle all the meat. I would really encourage you to find somewhere to hang it. There are people that do farm slaughters. They'll come out and they'll shoot it, skin it, and eviscerate it, and you may be able to help them, and you may still have to build the meat. They'll shoot it, skin it, and eviscerate it. Slaughters, they'll come out and they'll eviscerate it, and you may be able to. But if you have a way, even if you have a clean farm, that you could put. When you cut an animal in, like a cow or a steer, in 4 pieces, that's quarters. When you break the quarters down to smaller pieces, those are called primals, and then you butcher them to cuts. If you had a way, like a tractor or something, where you could do the slaughter, the evisceration, the kill, the evisceration, the slaughtering, 8 quarters down to your place, and then transport it, because they have to hang for 10 days minimum for cattle, and the kill, the evisceration. Walk-in coolers are a huge place, and then transport it. Like, no lie.
Yeah, but walk-in coolers are not always. I mean, a walk-in cooler can be built pretty cheaply.
Yes.
They can, but the thing when you want to use one for butchering, if you're gonna hang beef, it has to be built sturdy enough to support hundreds of pounds of hanging flesh.
Yeah. Homestead Odyssey is asking, do you always pay to hang them, or do you have a way to hang them at home?
You're gonna hang some pounds of hanging flesh. So
only if it's wintertime.
Yeah.
And even then, it's nice to have a controlled environment where it's that temperature the whole time.
Yeah.
And they're not around flies in case it warms up for any amount of time.
Yeah.
Because
they lose water weight, and that's what allows you to butcher it after a fashion that you would be happy with. First farm animal we tried to butcher was a pig. Bought it off of the internet from a girl that didn't make it in 4-H, and we tried butchering it the day it was killed, and it was
like cutting Jello.
it was a wonderful opportunity to learn how not to do it. For us, where we live in Oregon, when the sheep lamb in February, March, we try to get them
At 9 months.
9 months. We've had really, really good results with, I mean, regardless of the breed, we've had really good results slaughtering at 9 months. And so that can put you into December. We've done them as early as October. So if it's cool enough outside, we'll let them hang. But if it's too warm, then that's when we pay to hang them.
Yeah, and it was only like $7 a day at our local butcher shop. So plus a take-in fee of $10. So it was very marginal. Maybe it was like $40 total for us to hang it there. And for us, it was worth it because it made it easier.
And I mean, quite honestly, we've also put sheep carcasses in a chest freezer with a thermostatic controller.
Yeah.
So you get what's the company?
It's a Johnson controller.
You get a Johnson controller, thermostatic controller. And you turn your chest freezer into a really well-tuned refrigerator, and you can set a whole 9-month-old lamb in there, and that's another good way to get around having to hang it if you don't have or pay to hang it. So it's about finding what works out for you.
You know, it makes one wonder how they derived the whole process of the hanging and stuff. I mean, when did that actually develop? Was that 50 years ago? 60?
No, I have absolutely no idea. But if I were gonna fire off, just like shoot from the hip.
They froze.
They certainly did.
Yep.
I asked too tough of a question.
Too tough of a question. That it.
So they have frozen, and I know that we've struggled here tonight with them.
Well, it's 20 after 10.
It is 20 after 10, and I am thinking that at this point in time,
Yeah.
I mean they're
sort of telling
still,
us.
Yeah, they're still attached, but they're not able to do
the
anything.
natives did it. You got that.
Yes,
the natives did it.
Natives did it. Mm-hmm. So let's talk real quickly about tomorrow night, because tomorrow night is a real special night.
Right.
Okay, tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Ta-da! All right, let me. They have disconnected, so let's get this over here. All right, tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. We're going to do another Monday Night Live on Tuesday. Tuesday special edition, Monday Night Live. And they're back. They're back.
Yeah, our Mississippi family. Oh, yes, they are back.
Okay, but tomorrow night, Deep South Homestead, we'll have them on at 8 o'clock Eastern Time for a pre-gathering get-together.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you definitely don't want to miss that. And we have them back. They have reconnected. So let's get them back on here. Hello. Well, I
They're
have
frozen again.
They're frozen. So we are struggling. So I think what we're going to do here, we're probably just
They're saying unmute us.
They're saying to unmute them.
Yeah, but you're not muted, Paul, Katie.
They might have been. They're not now.
Here we go.
There, I hear them.
Here we go.
I can hear them.
Yeah, it's like
Can you
they're
hear us? They're all.
a little bit. Yeah, it's like you're talking through springs.
Our.
There they went.
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear me or not, but it looks like you're frozen up again. So.
Our MiFi overheated and shut off.
I don't know. It's right here.
Stick it in the main.
Awesome.
trying to pull it back.
Glad to hear that, Jason. It'll be tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Deep South Homestead will be our guest.
Hour.
I don't know.
Quick.
It's right here. Okay, there we go. Go ahead. Get this back on.
Okay, so anyway, tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, special Monday Night Live with Deep South Homestead. We're going to talk quite a bit about the gathering. We've had them on before,
Couple times.
a couple times. And
Rumor has it Ahmed may call in.
it's already a rumor?
Already a rumor.
Goodness.
Yeah.
So, nope, we've lost them again. There they're back. Now they're back again. She's holding up a MiFi.
Yep. We know what those are.
For some reason, it shut off.
And actually, I'm going to bring them back out because the picture has gotten very good.
Sure
So,
did.
All right. We'll see if this works a little bit. It did. It was real good for fractions of a second.
Oh, Sky, I already warned Danny and Wanda about Ahmed calling. That's true.
All right. So I think it's best we just kind of...
Oh,
Okay.
Jessica, I'm sorry to hear that you're sick. Told you your hubby would give you his cooties.
I hear the ice in the glass.
Yeah, I can hear the ice, but that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a frozen picture and... All right. So anyway. Anything else you need to say?
Not that I can think of.
A lot of people have dropped off, so we're
Yeah.
just gonna say good night to everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Special thank you to our moderators,
Okay, thank you.
and an extra special thank you to our
Our guests
well
on the road.
Yeah, our guests on the road, and a very special thank you to our channel members. If you see people floating around here with green on, it's not because of St. Patrick's Day. It's because they are members of Smudge's Peoples. So,
Yep.
if you'd like to become a member of Smudge's Peoples, click the join button down below. Would love to have you, and we will see you tomorrow evening.
Stephanie, who are you talking about? The people on tomorrow night? Tomorrow night, our guest will be Deep South Homestead. They are having their meetup next weekend in Mississippi.
And it's one of the premier homesteading events, or at least ways it's gotten into that. It's developed into that.
Yep.
So,
Everyone have a wonderful evening and hope to see you tomorrow night.
okay. So thank you so much. Take care. Have a nice evening, and we will see you tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, not 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, Eastern Time. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.